All right, we live.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation on this Monday afternoon. Overcast here in New York, man, but orange and blue skies as it relates to the New York Knicks. The Knicks go 3-0 on the weekly campaign with victories over the Wizards, over the Timberwolves, and over the New Jersey Nets, man. We're going to recap the week. My guy Justin Morelli is in the building, back by popular demand. So let's talk about it. 3-0 on the campaign. We'll have Stephon Marbury coming through in just a little bit as we remember the late, great Lenny Wilkins and give him his proper flowers. So we got a great show today. Lock in, hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Salute to the franchise channel members, salute to the replay gang. Let's get into it. All right, man. Justin, how we feeling, man? Welcome back, man.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me. I thought I was going to get more tomatoes, but if I'm back by popular demand, that's pretty good.
Now, you know, after the episode, they went easy on you, man. They were comments. They said, yo, you got to bring Justin back, man. So that's why I hit you. I'm like, yo, let's recap the week. But you had yourself a good week. You were up in Cuse, man. Just shed a little light on that real quick.
So first off, got the mellow cayenne slam little thing on there. Listen, I went to Cuse, as you know. I think right now is an exciting time for the team with Carmelo being very involved this year, with his son being a freshman and his son showing out early in his career. I know these games aren't big games yet. You know, it's kind of like these teams that are not great teams. But, you know, as we're seeing with the Knicks right now, when you watch the team, you know when they look good. Yeah. When you watch a player, you know when he looks good. Doesn't matter the competition. And he's showing more than I think anyone at Syracuse thought this early. I think they thought it was going to take him a little bit of time. And he's come right out the gate, and he looks like he might get that starting spot. He started the last game because of injury. He might get that starting spot for good. So there's some excitement there. Spent some time with the team, spent some time at practice, then went to the game on Saturday. So looking forward to it. Going to go up a couple more times this year and trying to do some fun content with the team. So you guys who follow the shot clock, just look out for that. We're going to have a lot of cayenne, a lot of Syracuse mellow stuff coming up as we get through this year.
Yeah, there we go. So Cayenne putting on a show out there, showing off some of his father's arsenal, whatever he's learning at the Brickley camp. So good for you, man. Good for you. Had a good weekend up there at your alma mater up at Syracuse and got to watch Cayenne in action. Good stuff by you. Now, early in the week, you were at the Garden. Each of these home games, wins over the Wizards, wins over the Timberwolves, and wins over the Nets last night, man. Give me your reaction to those three from your point of view.
Look, like I just said, I think it's not as much the competition. Obviously, Minnesota is a really good team. We know Ant was coming off an injury. He probably wasn't the best version of himself that game, but that's still a Minnesota team that was at full strength, that we know is a really good team anyway. And you just watch this team this year, and you see such a change from last year. And it's not, once again, this is not to indict Tibbs on what he was doing last year, but this system seems like such a better fit for the guys on this team, especially one Mikal Bridges, especially one OG Anunoby. Those guys are playing right now like all-star level players through the first, 9 games of the year. And I think what we saw with Tibbs with them was their ceiling was kind of a role player. Now we're seeing this year, hey, there's a chance one of these guys could be on the all-star team if things break right. And you're just seeing I think from top to bottom, Jalen's going to be Jalen in any offense because he's a superstar, right? Cat is going to be Cat in any offense because he's a top level scorer. But when you're talking about these other guys who need certain play calls, who need a style of offense to be their best version of themselves, I think you're seeing them, especially the two guys I mentioned, being maximized in this offense. And it's just beautiful basketball to watch. The ball movement, the player movement, obviously the stats speak for themselves, but it's just, I think their ceiling is just so much higher this year, which is the reason they made this change. The reason you wanted to see 10 guys played every game, 9, 10. You wanted to see the ball movement, the player movement, and now you're seeing it early in the season. Remember, they don't even have this offense down pat yet. This is still 9 games in, and we're still going to see this is not going to be smooth sailing. We know that. But I think what you're seeing is the ceiling is just a lot higher this year than it was in previous years.
Great points. Great points by you there. And that's a scary thing about this team, right? Is that when you look at the stats, right now they're number 2 in offense, number 1 depending on which platform you're tracking that offensive rating. They're 11 in defense, so they're close to the top 10, 4th in that rating. And by everybody's accounts, they're still a work in progress. That's the scary thing. As you said, the ball movement is phenomenal. 30 plus assists in their win over the Nets. They're passing the ball way more. That's by the eye test and by the stats. So the ball is flowing. And this is, to me, the scary thing. Over these past couple of games, the trend that you're seeing, and again, it's early, but they're shooting the ball efficiently, 40%. And then they're getting offensive rebounds as well. So even on the misses, they're winning the possession battle. And if that is going to be their identity, offense is going to be scary.
Yeah, and I think you're seeing too, like everyone looks like they're just trying to make the extra pass, right? This year, they're passing up good shots. We always talk about this I played high school basketball, right? You talk about this in high school. You pass up a good shot for a great shot. That's what it seems like this team is doing. Even Jalen looks like he's passing up shots that he would have taken last year, which aren't even bad shots for Jalen. Jalen, any shot's a pretty good shot, but he's passing up shots that he could make for a great shot for someone else on his team. And they're all doing this, and it's infectious when you play basketball like that. The ball finds the right person. Then, they always say the ball will find you, right? And what they're doing and the style of play just seems to suit the team incredibly well. And I think, your guy, Mitch, who you always talk about, who's such a key to this team, and he is, but their plan for him this year has also been very interesting and I think very effective. He talked about it after last night's game, the 3-minute spurts that he's playing at. Remember, last year, even in the playoffs, he would play a long period of time and then he would sit. Yeah. And then he would play a long period of time and then he would sit. Now, because of the injury history, right, because of the way he plays, if he's going to play 3 minutes hard, sit him down 3 minutes and play in quicker spurts, it might even be more effective, not only for him to stay healthy, but for him to be the best version of himself. And I think you've seen that too. So I think that's getting swept under the rug a little with everything that's going on. Their plan for certain guys seems to be right now, the perfect thing for the guys that, that they're doing. And that to me, it just says, it speaks volumes of already what Mike Brown has implemented with this team. Guys look happy. They're playing free. And, I'm starting to think well, first of all, I'm going to plug myself for a second because I said on your show, I said Mike Brown Coach of the Year was one of my 3 things. Hey, we got a long way to go. But if this thing continues, that's not an impossible thing that we're looking at.
It's looking good. And when you mentioned Mitch, it is interesting because the whole, and they're going to see John Morant on Tuesday, the whole John Morant fallout with this new coach with the Grizzlies in Tomas Lisalo, part of it is the substitution patterns. And Lisalo met with the media last week speaking on the fact that his theory and his system is designed to have guys coming in for quick, intense bursts and then come out. Now, is that the whole strategy for the Knicks? Here and there, you're getting a good distribution of minutes and a lot of guys are playing, but specifically for Mitch, as you said, could that be a factor in getting him to the playoffs? It could be a blueprint. Could that be a blueprint for getting in there, these short intervals where he doesn't have to run out of gas as much if he's playing in the longer stretches, which he kind of has a tendency to do in the early parts of his seasons. So maybe that is a blueprint.
I think for sure, and I think also it's helped Cat too, right? Because I think what makes him special on offense is occasionally him playing the 5. You don't want to take that away from him offensively because he dominates big men. He's just a tough cover for any center because he can step out and hit from deep, obviously, and he can take you off the bounce and take you to the rim because of his quickness. So if you play him at the 4 all game, it kind of takes that away. But this kind of hides his defense enough because he's playing at the 5 most of the time against the second unit, against certain second unit players. And then he's playing the 4 with Mitch in certain bursts. So it kind of gives you a little bit of a taste of both without taking either of the strengths away from both him and Mitch, which I think is also just very interesting that they came up with this plan. And so far, it's obviously been amazing. They're also, aside from Mitch, you're seeing OG tack the offensive glass more. You're seeing other guys on the team. You heard Mike Brown talk about it. they want to, I think they're in the attack zone, he calls it.
Yeah.
Right? They're in the attack zone. He wants them all hitting the offensive glass anytime a shot's up on the rim and just guys in the attack zone. And you've seen that, like you said, won the possession battle, getting second chance points. And it hasn't been just Mitch. And I think overall, look, everything you wanted to see, aside from a couple games so far, and listen, they missed a million shots against Miami. If they hit any of those open shots, they might have won that game.
Yeah.
Milwaukee, they played a bad second half. And then Chicago was hot and they played a bad first half. So now they've seemed to have put it together. The challenge is going to be taking it out on the road now. Home games make it easier because you get practice time. You get to practice on the floor when you're at home more than you do on the road. But everything you're seeing, I think you have to like. And in terms of the entire team coming together, they look like this is like, okay, we've just scratched the surface, like you said. What is going to happen when they finally put it all together?
Yeah. And you mentioned the dog OG. He was voted on by our fans as this week's player of the game. OG in the last 3 games averaged 20 points per game on 56% shooting from the field, 56% from 3 on 5 attempts. So let's talk about a 68% true shooting percentage. And I didn't even look at the steals, 2.7 steals over those last 3 and 7 boards. Dog is locked in right now, bro.
He's locked in, and I think, I'm not gonna talk about what these guys actually felt, but I think for him and Mikal, like I said before, Tibbs was not a great fit for them on offense. You know what I mean? They need the ball movement, the player movement, and I think what you're seeing with OG is he's getting better shots this year. You know what I mean? Like maybe that. Now, listen, it's still early. We'll see where this is. There's going to be some regression to the mean here with these numbers, but his shot profile and selection is just, he's getting more open looks because the ball's moving more. And now instead of stopping here and he's getting it late in the clock, maybe with a hand in his face, now he's getting it earlier in the clock, more open. He's getting more corner threes, even for a guy who hit a lot of corner threes last year, he's getting even more this year. So I think overall he's locked in, but he's getting more of the shots that suit him as well.
Yeah, he's definitely getting more of the shots that shoot him. Modern NBA profile for OG Anunoby, and that's what you have to love about his shot diet right now. And he had a good comment. He had a good comment from James Edwards of The Athletic, speaking on the fact that he's looking to take more contested threes, particularly in the corner. And if you look at it right now, bro, he's in the 100th percentile in corner 3 shooting right now in the NBA amongst his peers. OG Anunoby right now is shooting 57% from the corner 3 right now. 57% from the corners. That is absolutely fantastic. And let me just pull this up. I'm pulling up the stats for the people in the chat. Give me 1 second. Salute to everybody in the chat. CP the Franchise, Justin Morelli here. We got Stephon Marbury on the way as we remember the late, great Lenny Wilkins. Yeah, so OG, 44% from 3, 57% from the corners, and overall an effective field goal percentage of 60.7%, including 65% at the rim.
And that, look, that alone opens up the offense for everyone else. It opens up for Jalen. It opens up for Cat to do what they do because now they have to honor these guys at a different level. OG was always, listen, he was a pretty good 3-point shooter. He was never a great 3-point shooter. Now, if he plays close to this clip, that gives you a totally different look. And I think what we talked about last year, when you saw Mitch and Josh Hart on the floor together, that was not something you ever wanted to see. This year, it's actually more palatable because of the fact these other guys have now picked up their shooting and the style of play is different. So I don't think that's an issue anymore. I think you could play any lineup you want. And I don't know if you saw this stat this morning. The Josh Hart starting lineup, which was the starting lineup the Knicks used for most of last year, right? Hart and the other 4 guys, was the worst starting line, was the single worst lineup, I think, in the entire NBA. This year so far, it's been the best lineup in the NBA. So that tells you everything you need to know about the way they're playing, the style they're playing, and what the effect that OG's had, and obviously Mikal too. Mikal shot, I don't know what he did last year. Maybe he found God. Maybe he went to church after the year and he figured out how to fix his shot. But he looks like the player we thought we were getting when you made that trade with the Nets.
Yeah, no question. Both of those guys are clicking on all cylinders. Mikal Bridges spoke to the media speaking on the fact that he feels like both those guys in year 2, they have the chemistry. And he also talked about their chemistry defensively, like in their shifts, and be able to take those risks, take those chances, and knowing where the other player is going to be out there on the court. You could just see the instincts is coming together for this team on both ends of the floor, where that chemistry carryover, you can't underrate that from last year to this year.
And
Definitely
I think also when you talk about defense too, it's like, when you're playing better offense, it makes you play better defense. We're human beings. Like, I play basketball players in all across the world. You want to fill it up a little bit. No one wants to play defense. Like, that's not the fun thing to do. The fun thing to do is put the ball in the hole and get good looks. And when you're doing that, it makes you then pick up your defense too. We know OG and Mikhail, we know what they're capable of doing on the defensive end, especially OG, right? But now when you're getting more opportunities on offense, that might even tick your defense up a little bit more than it even was before. Because now you don't feel like, oh, I'm just playing defense and I'm not getting rewarded on the offensive end. Well, now you're getting rewarded on the offensive end for the amount of defense you're playing. So I think both ends affect each other.
For sure. And this was the newest Nic Clarkson on the impact that those guys are having on the team. Here's Jordan Clarkson. He was after the game, after the Knicks win over the New Jersey Nets. Here we go.
With a bunch of capable defenders, I'm just wondering where having Mikhail and OG at the same time on the floor, where that ranks with the different types of defenders you've had.
Those are probably the best perimeter defenders that I've played with, if not the best defenders that I played with, so including Mitch as well. So all those guys do a great job of shrinking the floor, making guys, speed up, turn the ball over, block shots. They all over the floor.
That was news, Nic Clarkson, and yeah, you look at it, man, with the steals. Well, I mean, there's a lot to like. He's 2.8% steal percentage, 97th percentile is OG in steal percentage amongst his peers right now. But I've talked about it this week, man. The offensive rebounding, bro. 5.4 offensive rebounding percentage, 76th percentile. He's averaging 6 rebounds per game this year right now, which is up a little bit from the 4 and change that he was at last year. The dog is rebounding ferociously out there, man.
Yeah, and I think, too, it's like he's getting before last year, Josh Hart was in the game with him all the time. And Josh is obviously a premier, rebounder, especially for a guard, a wing that size. And I think sometimes when you're out with a guy like that, you're like, all right, I'll just let him get the rebound because he's going to go grab it. But now OG, Josh is not always on the floor with him. Even when Mitch is on the floor, Mitch is a good rebounder, but he does a lot of boxing out and letting other guys go attack it instead of him grabbing himself. So it just gives OG more opportunities. Plus, they're playing smaller at times this year, right? So OG, you've seen him at the 5 even. You've seen him at the 4 a lot of times. So in those situations, Mike Brown, you've heard him challenge these guys to go hit the glass. We know you're capable. I think he said, it was either after this game or the game before, OG's a great athlete. He's one of the best athletes in the NBA. So when you're talking about a guy that size and that athleticism, he wanted to challenge him to go attack the glass more. And I think, like you said, you're seeing, what was he at, 4 and change rebounds a game before this year. And if he's at 6 now, that's a significant uptick. 1.5, 2 rebounds. That's a lot per game. And I think, like I said, everyone is trying to challenge each other to step up their game in factions of their game that maybe they didn't in previous years. And that's what great teams do. You got to challenge yourself to be the best, always push each other to get even better. And I think that's what's going to lead this team to win a championship. And hey, I think before the season, we looked at it, right, with OG and Mikhail, even in the fold, we looked at it like, all right, we could get to the finals. But I think all of us maybe thought OKC might probably be better. And I thought all of us probably thought whether even if Denver got there, they might be better. But now when you look at this team and what they're doing, I can't wait till they play those teams, because I don't think it's out of the realm that you could get to that point later in the season and say this Knicks team could be every bit as good as them on both ends of the floor. And that's an exciting thing to think about.
CP the Franchise, Justin Morelli in the building. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Knicks Weekly episode 133. Hope everybody's doing well in the chat. Salute to our franchise channel members. If you guys are working right now, if you guys are on the grind, throw a hashtag grind in the chat and we will definitely shout you guys out. Shout out to everybody tapped in with us today. My guy RGT85 is in the building. RGT, we need you. We need you on the show. We got to tap in, man. We'll get you on the show this week if you're available. Shout out to RGT85. Salute to Leroy Woodside, $20 super chat, and he just showing love. Shout out to Leroy Woodside, man. Longtime friend of the program. Leroy, we definitely appreciate you. And number one on the chat leaderboard right now. Vic from the Sty said Justin is on point. Shout out to Vic from the Sty, also on the grind. Shout out to Vic, man. Vic from the Sty is in the building, man. There we go. Okay, we are waiting on Steph to come through, but in the meantime, we are just recapping a good week for the New York Knicks. 3-0 in the campaign, and this was the thing that I talked about in the Nets game last night. This is what I talked about after the Nets game on postgame, where, in even the Wizards game, where it's like, okay, we can speak all we want about the competition and we can qualify wins and losses if you want to. That's fine. You have those naysayers. To me, I still want to see execution. And that's what I saw last night. I saw a team that from the jump, they're playing the Nets, but from the jump, they're going in, driving sprays, defense, getting the second chance opportunities, playing with pace, playing with intensity, like just competing at the highest level, not sleeping on the competition, but still understanding who they are and what they're trying to execute. And this was Mike Brown on that point after the game yesterday, and it was an excellent comment and kind of speaks to what this team is about right now. Here was Mike Brown after the Knicks versus Nets game on their approach right now.
Now, yeah, but so we're talented, and we're going to have, no matter what we do on the floor, we're going to have the ability to score. But, you take the regular season and you prepare yourself for the postseason. And if you just go out there and play the wrong way and win, we still probably going to score because we're talented. Got a lot of guys that can score. But it's not going to help us later on. And there are things that we have to continue to try to get better at in terms of our recognition and stuff like that out on the floor. And our pace, getting the ball in bounds on a make, not walking the ball up, getting right to our stuff. If they take this away, bam, we got counters, go to the counter. So there are a lot of little things that, it's hard to explain, to you guys to a certain degree. But our guys know it, and we'll show it to them. And so I do think we can be better. And, that's what we should all be striving for, is to be better. And there's still a lot of room for us to grow.
What do you think, man?
I think when Mike Brown took this job, right, if you had a checklist of everything he could have done right in the first 2 weeks of the season, he about hit every part of the checklist, right? The things he says, the things how he holds the team accountable, but he also holds himself accountable. We heard not only in that sound bite, but what did he say after the game, 4 or 5 or whatever? He said he was bad with the rotations.
Yeah,
he was bad with the substitution. Like, that's on me, he said. So players love that. Players love when you're not just throwing them onto the bus, you're taking accountability yourself, because it's the coach's job to put them in position to succeed, just like it's their job to go out and play. So I think you're hearing what he's saying there too, is like, hey, we're going to be good anyway because we have a talented offensive team, but it's my job to put them in the best position to make the best version of what this offense can look like. And like I said, if you're at work right now, okay, and you're watching this, and if you're not watching this, you should be watching this. Because if you're at work right now, we've seen in this day and age, you could sneak out, you could throw something on the monitor. You don't need to be paying attention. No one works 9 to 5 all the time. This is right. So you got to be paying attention to this, because this is the time to be excited if you're a Knicks fan right now. Because if you're not excited by what you're seeing with how they're playing and what Mike Brown's saying and how everyone's talking about it, then you know what? You should actually take today off. Take the rest of the day off, go walk around and enjoy what's going on with this Knicks team, because that's how excited I am, to be honest with you.
It's looking good, man, so far. And like they said, they're a work in progress, which is definitely scary for the league. Captain Clutch Jalen Brunson also met with the media after this game. And again, along the same lines of just practicing how you play and playing how you practice and not allowing the opponent to dictate how you play. This was Jalen Brunson on the team's approach, and this was after the Knicks win over the lowly Swamp Dragons, man. Here we go. Here's the captain. Here we go.
teams, when you're winning and then you play a team like this that's struggling, there can be those letdowns. That's just human nature. We see it all the time in all professional sports. Was there a discussion about it? Was there a mindset about it? Or why does this team not fall into that trap?
I think we're growing as a team. It was definitely a problem for us last year, third quarters, especially the playoffs were not our friend. So we're just trying to address it as best as we can, and it starts with the little things.
How much work has this team done in the corner threes that has made that shot such a weapon this year?
I think getting down to the corners, and especially in transition, opens up the floor. So when we're able to drive and attack seams, and they collapse on the floor, and we know we can throw a blind pass. We know people are going to be there, and so we've been working on it a lot, and try to continue to execute and then knock it down.
Jalen.
All right, so that was Captain Clutch Jalen Brunson, Justin, talking about last year's third quarter of doom. That's what we always used to categorize it as. Remember, later on in the season, these guys were doing layup lines to try to get some energy. Remember that?
Yeah,
so it seems like we come a long way, but them just having that awareness, okay, this is how you try to take that next step as a team with championship caliber aspirations, is cleaning up, learning from your mistakes last year, cleaning up the little things, attention to detail. And this is what he looks locked in, man. I don't know if those are Gucci shades, whatever he's got on in the locker room. He's looking fresh, he's looking fly, and he's looking focused. Look at his eyes, man. He's ice in his veins right now.
And I think too, it's like Jalen has this like casual swag, right? He's got this like smart casual, but I've seen him go a little more bad boy swag. Like he wore the leather jacket from Kid. I said to my man at the game, I said, listen, I got the leather jacket myself because that's my vibe. I got that bad boy type of vibe. But Jalen Brunson doesn't usually pull out that kind of so he's wearing the leather jacket, bad boy vibe after that game. Now he's got the Gucci shades on. Yeah. This dude, he's ready.
He's coming full captain with it. He's coming full captain with it this year. He's really embraced it, man.
Yeah, and too, I think these guys are doing a good job because I think, listen, shout out to all the Knick beat writers and all the reporters who ask questions because they're baiting them a little bit to try to throw Tibbs under the bus. You know what I mean? With these questions, because it's hard not to acknowledge how different it is from last year, whether you like whatever you like. So these guys are baiting these guys to say, oh, you're working on this, how many corner threes you took, the pace, the style, like they're baiting them. And the players are doing a good job of not really, buying into it with still complimenting what they're doing. And Jalen is, if you want to learn how media training, right? If you want players to learn media training, go to Jalen Brunson's school, okay? Because Jalen Brunson, he knows what he's doing with the media training. He's never going to throw anyone under the bus. He's going to give the compliments. He's going to say what he's got to say about the team without throwing shade elsewhere. So you go Jalen Brunson with the podcast, you should have the Jalen Brunson media training right alongside of that because it's as good as it gets. And I think from his standpoint, you look at it, he also knows, right? He's one of these guys that loves basketball. He loves basketball for the game of basketball. He wants to get better for the game of basketball. He's been overlooked his whole life. He was drafted in the second round. The Mavs wouldn't even sign him to a contract in the middle of the season. He had to wait till the end of the year. He finally gets his due. He's not satisfied with scoring 30 a game in the playoffs. He's not satisfied with going to the conference finals. He wants to hold that trophy, that Larry O.B. trophy at the end of the year. He wants that banner. He wants his jersey retired at the top of the rafters. He wants to be that legend in New York that everyone talks about 50 years from now. That's what he wants. That's what you're seeing in all those press conferences. And now he's bringing the style up, right? He's got the look to go with the game because now he says, this is the year. Now I'm ready. I'm ready to not only put up the numbers, but I want to hold that trophy too. That's what I see.
There you go, man. This guy's trying to come back every week here next weekly, ladies and gentlemen, man. This guy's dropping sermons. He's dropping bars. Justin Morelli in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Throw some fives in the chat. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, subscribe to the channel. Listen, man, when you guys go to the Garden, you can probably catch Justin courtside, sitting next to Spike, or he's in the Delta Lounge, eating lobsters and everything, with the movers and shakers. But if you guys looking for your tickets, as this week is the final 3 home games of the longest homestand of the season, use our friends at SeatGeek and use our code KFTV10 for a quick discount of 10% off your tickets. That is, again, with SeatGeek, the #1 rated ticketing app. And it's very easy to use. And when you go on the SeatGeek app or you go to SeatGeek.com, you type in Knicks versus, let's say you want to go to the Magic game, Knicks versus Magic. You look for the green dots. Those will typically represent the best deals, and they rank them from amazing all the way down to good. And then it'll get a little bit lighter green as the deals are a little bit less valuable or the best value for your money, rather. But the red dots, those are the bad deals. You want to stay away from those, and unless you're like really desperate to get in the building, then you go for those. But either way, we got you covered with a discount. Use our code KFTV10 for 10% off your tickets. And I believe our code KFTV is also active if you haven't used it already, and that will be good for $20 off your order. All right, so once again, shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring today's show.
And I want to say one more thing to that too, because I actually use SeatGeek to buy tickets. They have the best deals, and this is not even I'm not getting paid for this. This is a free comment. They have the best deals, and when you get KFTV as well, those deals are going to get even better. So I would use SeatGeek, #1, and shout out to my guy CP for the best promo transition in the game. Yeah, going from he'll talk about what Madison Square Garden looks like at night, and then all of a sudden he's buying tickets on SeatGeek. I've never seen it's the best transition in the game. So shout out on that as well.
9 years of the game, man. Gotta work on it, and always a work in progress. Shout out to Brian's Future. He says he's buying his 11/22 tickets now for the Orlando game. Justin, we're taking the Road Warriors show to Orlando. We was in Miami a couple weeks ago. We back on the Florida Trail. We going to Orlando, November 22nd, Knicks versus Magic. If you want to, slide, come through, man.
All right, let me look at my schedule. I obviously got to check the old schedule, and then, but the Orlando, the Florida trip is always a fun trip. You can't say no to a Florida trip.
Can't say no.
Especially in the winter in New York, that's for sure.
Can't say no to that. If you guys want to call in on the Discord, we here, man. We can call in on the Discord on the lunchtime grind. Salute to everybody that is tapping in. Monday, Knicks got the win. Hopefully you guys are feeling good. Orange and blue skies wherever you guys are at. And we want to shout out another super chat that has come in. Shout out to Vic from the Sty, franchise channel member, $5 super chat. Says Brown pretty much summed it up in the post-game interview. Last year, the team won in spite of Tibbs' limitations because they are so talented. Yeah, that's it. And that was another reason with the adjustments to the offense. It's like, look, at the end of the day, you got Cap. You can always say, give it to 11 and let them get it cracking. You know what I mean? Like, they still have staples that make them a fantastic team, and Jalen Brunson spearheading it is one of them. But, again, you're looking, the goal for this offense this season, less predictable, equal opportunity offense, get your role players involved early, get them going, and it inspires two-way play. When your offense is cooking, you're going to be more spirited on the defensive end. You're just human nature. You're going to apply that pressure and have that intensity. That's why everybody has to get involved, including Mitch, the Block Nest monster, who took home the Timbs last night, man. Mitch got the Timbs last night.
He did. And I think you put it perfectly. Less predictable, right? Yeah. That's the biggest takeaway. And when something's not predictable, it's harder to defend. You know what I mean? Like, no matter how good someone is, and we're going to have games. You're going to have games at the end of the game where Cap's going to have to do his thing. We know that. That's how that's the NBA, right? You're going to have ISO ball at times at the end of games when plays break down and you need someone who's going to get a bucket and cook. That's going to be Cap, right? But at the end of the day, too, what have the Knicks done this year to these teams that we talk about are bad teams, right? They've made them look like G League teams. And that's what they should be doing. Last year, I remember, if I'm not mistaken, you correct me if I'm wrong, didn't Cap have to score 50 in a game at Washington last year, and they had to barely win the game?
Yeah.
Right? They might have won the game in overtime, if I remember. I went to 2 net games last year where the Knicks won at the buzzer. I think it was Knicks City night. Didn't McHale hit the game-winning shot against the Nets? Another game they barely won against the Nets. Those are wins, but those aren't wins when you're looking at how the team is going to prepare for the playoffs. The wins are take the Nets out, beat them by 40, embarrass them, get your stars out of the game, have them basically put them in the deep freeze in the fourth quarter, pull the oars in the fourth quarter, as they say, and give the bench guys some burn, because that's what you got to do to become a championship team. You embarrass those teams that are not on your level. You don't even make them think that they have a chance in the game. And that's what the Knicks have been doing to these bad teams. And that, like I said, that's all you could ask for. That's what you want to see.
Good, true story, man. Let's get to the Discord. Let's hear from Hooper. Hooper on the Discord. Go ahead and unmute your mic, man.
Yo,
How you feeling, man?
feeling good. Yesterday's game was great. The offense was great. We're looking great. I just want Mitch to get more minutes. I feel 17 is too little.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, that's good for Mitch. We got to keep him fresh. And he's giving you a game's worth of production anyway.
Yeah, but I feel like he should get a little more burnt because Cat just like at the 5 gets toyed on defense. You can just tell every time it's an open paint shot for someone.
Well,
or someone's weak side helping, you know?
Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, you listen, first of all, you know we love everyone on the chat. But if your takeaway from this game is Mitch needs to get more minutes, that's how well the Knicks played last night. You know what I mean? Like they sat everyone in the fourth quarter. How many minutes you want him to get? I mean, they're trying to keep him healthy for the end of the year. He's playing 3-minute segments at a time, and they won by 40 points. So, you know what I mean? It's not like they barely won the game and Cat's getting toyed. Yeah, Cat, we know Cat's not a great defensive center. We know that. But you want Mitch to be fresh as the season goes along. And when they play these better teams and he's going to have to play 25, right? That's when you want him playing 25. You don't need him playing 25 against the Nets, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, not against the Nets, but like overall, he should just get a little more burnt.
Yeah.
Or maybe play a little bit of Huck 40, you know? Huck 40 can play a little bit of the 5 if he has to.
Well, right now, and appreciate the call. Were you at school? You at school today, man? What are you doing today, man?
Yeah. Just trying to finish this up, assignment.
All right, man. Lock in, man. Lock in.
All
right, get to it. We're gonna let Hooper get back to homework and shit. Okay, but the rotations are looking like it's pretty set right now, bro. You know what I mean?
Think too. You know, he talked about after that game, he didn't like the way he was playing too many guys almost, right? He was giving rotations. Guys couldn't get in a rhythm. Guys couldn't play a certain, they like, as a basketball player, you want to play a certain amount of minutes to get in a flow, to get in a rhythm. If you can't do that, you can't get in your flow state, as they say, then it's hard to catch that type of rhythm that you want to catch to be the best version of yourself. So Mike Brown did that. He said, you know what, I'm going to cut back my rotation a little bit. Even Yabusele didn't play really last night until it was garbage time, right? So he's cutting back his rotation. There's going to be games Huck Porty is going to play, especially when Mitch doesn't play. He's going to play those games. There's going to be games when Yabusele doesn't play or plays. He's going to be free flowing with this rotation. You're going to have your set, 9 guys that are going to play, the starting 5, and then Josh, Deuce, Jordan, and who am I missing off the bench? One other off the bench.
Shamit.
Those 9 are going to play. And then you're going to see some games it might be only 9. Some games Yabusele will play. That'll be 10. Some games it'll be Huck Porty. That'll be 10. But the Knicks have a lot of options. And we all know in a season, injuries always happen.
Yeah.
Death, taxes, injuries in sports. So we're going to see their guys going to get their chance. And Kolek is going to probably be one of them as well. He's going to get his shot. There's going to be an injury. Those guys are going to be ready. But right now, he's trying to get guys in a flow and playing their best. And you can't argue with what he's done so far with the rotation.
Can't argue with it whatsoever. I see Rambo on the Discord. We're going to get to the Discord callers in just a second. You mentioned one of the contributors off the bench, and he's been heating up, man. Last 4 games, Jordan Clarkson has been looking good. He was last night's role player of the game in the Knicks win over the Nets with 11 points off the bench, and he's had a couple of double-digit games now. Jordan Clarkson seems to be getting into a rhythm. Here he was with the media after the Knicks win over the Nets. Here we go.
What are you seeing that's working these last couple of games?
Biggest thing for us is defensively, and then us just moving the ball. I think we all are buying in, making spray passes, playing fast at a fast pace. So I think all of us are getting comfortable, so we just got to keep continuing to do that.
I asked Jalen this the other day, but I'm wondering if what's the difference right now in the team from what was a week ago when you had some struggles on the road?
I think we just figuring it out. Continue to get better each day, and all of us just locking in on that. I think we're doing a great job, like I said, defensively all down the line, and offensively we're moving the ball, taking advantage of the opportunities that we get, and we letting it fly and competing.
Not that I'm telling on him, but did you see Josh giggling when you threw your headband after you fell?
Yeah, he always on me. So, but no, he made me laugh. I was kind of upset, but he got me right.
What's been different for you individually during this homestand? You're shooting over 56% from the field, over 40% from 3. Is it just you getting more comfortable in the system?
Yeah, no doubt. Still think I got a long way to go in terms of all the calls and all the movement that we have offensively, but it's taken, some time to get used to, everybody and the system and coach as well. So I'm just trying to stay locked in on that offensively, and then defensively for me, it's just being in the right spots and trying to bring anything I can on that end.
All right, man. So that was Jordan Clarkson meeting with the media. Seems to be getting into a little bit of a groove right now, bro. What's been your impressions of Cardiac Clarkson from your seats at the Garden?
I think he's been the guy who's been who's been the biggest beneficiary of the rotations changing in the last couple games, right? Guys getting a rhythm, because he's going to be playing the least amount if they're playing 11 guys. He's playing, what did he play, 16 minutes last night, something like that? Then he might be playing 10. And for a scorer, you got to get into that flow state as a scorer, and he's a natural born scorer. Like, that's what he is. He's in the mold. The Knicks always have a guy like this, right? The J.R. Smith type of player when J.R. was a six man. Now, J.R. was a little better of a player than Jordan is, but they're just natural born scorers. Obviously, Campaign was supposed to be a scorer off the bench. Jordan's a better version of him, in my opinion. But the Knicks, you need a guy like that microwave off the bench who's going to come in and fill it up. And also, when JB comes out, can handle the rock, can put the ball in the hole, can create for himself or for others. And I think he's doing a great job. And we really haven't seen yet. I can only think of one shot in the last couple games where I'm like, that was not a good shot.
Yeah.
For the most part, he's even taking good shots and passing up. He made a great dime to Cat last night coming down the lane. He drove in. He could have easily forced up a floater, a layup, and he dished it to Cat for an easier layup. And so I think Jordan is doing exactly what he needs to do. They want him to look to score. That's his job. But at the same time, limit the bad shots, because the guys like that, they know they can score. So when they get in, they want to fill it up. I think he's done a good job of limiting the bad shots so far, if that makes sense.
No, it definitely makes sense. And his last four in this 4-game winning streak that the Knicks are on, 12 points per game, 57% shooting from the field, and 42% from three. So Jordan Clarkson giving the Knicks everything they need. Good shot selection, efficient shot making, and aggressive. And that's the one thing with Clarkson, and we've kind of put the backup point guard need in the rearview mirror for right now because of how well the Knicks are distributing the ball, and it's been by committee. So right now, if they continue to buy into this system and it's equal opportunity, as long as you have guys like Clarkson, he's getting his paint touches, he's driving into the paint. Deuce is doing that as well. More so to me, at least by the eye test, than he has been in the previous 4 years. Of Josh, and depending on who they're playing with, if they're playing with Cat, if they're playing with Mikal Bridges, just all these guys are just continuing to move the ball well, and they're finding that energy for that second unit.
And I think you said it. We were, I think both of us, when I was on last time, we were concerned about who was going to be the ball handler, the facilitator, the backup point guard, right? And when Brogdon retired, we talked about that when he quickly, out of the blue retired, and we were like, okay, is it going to be Kolick? Now he's going to get his shot. Because that's a concern. Who's going to be that backup point to Jalen? Who's going to run the offense and be the facilitator? Well, I think, like you said, you're seeing it by committee, and I wasn't sure about how that was going to work, but so far it looks good, and I don't think there's any reason to change it. When you put Jordan on the floor, when you put Deuce on the floor, and you put him with Josh, or you put him with Mikal, some combination of those guys, that's a lot of ball handlers. All those guys can handle the ball. So you're kind of in a different way filling that one spot with 3 or 4 guys that can handle the rock, that could push the pace, that could run the offense. And, Jalen's going to play a majority of the time anyway. So when he's not on the floor, you just need guys that are going to keep the pace up, keep doing what he was doing. And you're not going to get the same level, but not have a complete drop off. And I think that's what they've done. Like you said, they're doing it by committee. And so far, that could work the way it looks right now.
So far, so good. We'll see once the competition steps up. CP the franchise, Justin Morelli on the ones and twos. We are waiting on Steph. I just got off the phone with him. He's handling some stuff right now, but he's trying to get here in a timely fashion. So continue to hang tight. We want to get Steph's take on, the state of the team and also remembering the late, great Lenny Wilkens. Lenny Wilkens passed away Sunday night, became an ancestor, and NBA.com. I was kind of combing through some videos on NBA.com, and they've done a lot of good tributes to Lenny Wilkens, a lot of good tributes coming in on Twitter from past players of the past and present. So once again, rest in peace to the late, great Lenny Wilkens. Okay, back to the phones we go. Let's get to Rambo from Tampa. Rambo, how you feeling? Happy Monday, man.
Happy money-making Monday, fellas.
Let's go.
Justin, salute to you, sir. By all means, man, I think, I I'm so fired up right now. The Knicks won't even play tonight. I'm so fired up just listening to you, bro. I appreciate you stepping out on this platform today and just firing us all up. Y'all ended just talking about Jordan Clarkson. I'm so happy to see him settling down right now. I've seen enough bums on his team over years that I know that he's not going to be that bum. Trust me. He's not giving me campaign. That man is going to continue to perform at a high level. He's a high professional guy. He's actually born from Tampa too. That's a fun fact for you guys out there. So was Kevin Knox, but they're on the separate side of the town. I promise. Okay.
Didn't think Kevin Knox dropped today. Did you?
Yeah, we did not put that in the bingo card.
But no, man, I'm really happy. CP, you know, we've been at this for years. And for all those guys out there who are over there saying that we're not competing, these are bums, these are Nets, they suck, this, and that. CP, you know, years ago, these teams were giving us trouble.
Smoke.
Like legit trouble, man. And just to see the evolution of this Knicks team, right, from those teams giving us trouble to now we handle those teams on a year-to-year basis. This has not been nothing new. We've gone out there and handled these teams, and I love to see it, bro. It shows what we're supposed to do as a true contender, man. And I'm in love with this team right now. I love it all, man. When he sat everybody in the bro, nobody paid over 30 minutes. Bro, I'm still hyped about all this, man. I went to bed early last night. I'm not gonna lie, man. I popped open a bottle of wine that doesn't support the show, and I kicked back. And I watched some Pop the Balloon with the wife, and it was just like, bro, it was awesome, bro. I've been good, man. I've been good. Justin, thank you, though, for real, because it's got a little cold out here, but I'm all fired up right now.
Let's go.
Let's go.
My guy.
Let's go. Rambo.
My guy, let me tell you.
Go ahead.
I watched, my girl came over last night because I was up in Syracuse this weekend. So I got back from Syracuse. She wants to see me. She's like, I'm dying. We need to hang out, whatever. And I was like, babe, I got to watch the Knicks game first. Knicks are on at 6. It's early. You come over at 9. We'll hang out. We'll watch a movie. We'll chill, right? That game was done at 7:30, 8 o'clock. The way they're playing right now, I put that game in the freeze. I had a roll. I said, babe, they're up 40. Come on over. I don't need to see anymore. All right, so just come over and let me tell you, for me, you don't know me like that, but I'm not a blow smoke type of guy. That's not what I do. I don't just tell you, oh, the Knicks are great because I'm a Knicks. I tell you that what I actually believe in. Because in years past, I'd be like, listen, they're a really good team, but I don't think their ceiling is championship level. Yeah. This year, with what you're seeing and how they're playing, I think that is the ceiling. And I think if you're a Knick, you got to be excited right now. And we talked about before the season, this is the year, right? Because of the Tatum injury, because of the Halliburton injury, because of all these things going on. This was the year for the Knicks. But you know what? They're making it the year more so than the injuries, but because of the way they're playing. Even if those guys were healthy, I would tell you this. They'd have a chance to win. That's how good they're playing right now. And that's what you got to love.
Gotta love it, man. And gotta love Who's that? Is that Rambo? Rambo, you still there?
Oh, my bad. Sorry.
No,
I feel like I'm in church right now, man. I got my hands up right now. Talk, Justin. Keep on going. Don't stop. But I'm gonna hop off the line. I'm gonna hop back on YouTube, man. I'm gone.
Let's go. Rambo from Tampa. Throw some 5s in the chat for our guy Rambo. Always a quality call. So shout out to Rambo from Tampa with the optimism. And speaking of which, man, we had to turn your guy Nic Claxton into a meme. Remember when Nic Claxton said this, man? Here we go. Hold on, I might have this on mute. Here we go.
I've never lost to the Knicks since I've been in the league. I don't think so. It's always fun playing against them. Me, I've never lost to the Knicks since I've been in the league. I don't think so. It's always fun playing against them.
And Nic Claxton, since then, is a whopping 0-11 against the Knicks. And there's a nice picture of Mitchell Robinson putting him on a poster. Life comes at you fast, man.
And the funny thing is, he said that like right at the beginning of his career. You know what I mean? It's not like he's been in the league for 10 years and he's beaten on the Knicks. He was in the league for like 2 years. and he's making this comment. That to me is the funniest part about the whole thing.
Hilarious. So shout out to Nic Claxton. When you can get your walking papers, man, get out of there. Get out of there and save your career, man. Do he's got to ask for a trade at some point. But hey, that's
make it stop.
Yeah,
he's saying make it stop.
Make it stop. Out. Make it stop. Make it stop. What else? Giants firing their head coach, man. Giants firing their head coach. Brian Daboll out of here, man.
Bro, it's interesting because as a Giants fan myself, I thought they were going to wait to the end of the season. That was what I thought was going to happen. I don't think it matters if you make a coaching change midseason, but supposedly what I'm hearing right now, and I've been checking Shefty and everyone else, they're saying that Kafka, who was the offensive coordinator, is taking over as the interim head coach. He's going to have a chance to win the job.
So clearly that's why.
That's why they're doing. They want to give him runway here with at least half a season to see what he does. And if he can be someone, he's been a guy, as you know, he's been in coaching. I think he's had a couple
mad interviews. He's had a ton of interviews.
He's had a ton of interviews in the past 2 years. So now listen, from what he's done as an offensive coordinator, you can't really see that. We don't know how much of his offense has been implemented. Is it more Daboll, who we know is an offensive coach coming from Buffalo, who's been, the lead guy there in terms of the offense? But I think you're going to get to see it. You're going to get to see him get a chance there. And the way Daboll's been, I thought Daboll was going to be a good coach coming in. I'm not going to be a Monday morning quarterback here. I was in favor of the hire and in favor of the Joe Shane hire. I thought Buffalo obviously ran a good system over there. You like what they did with Josh Allen drafting him and then the team they became. So you had to as Giant fans, young guys coming in and being a part instead of the old stuff they would always bring in. An old GM, a guy who's been in the league, guy who they had relationships with. They brought real guys in who they really thought could do the job. And I was in favor of that. It has not worked out that way. I think Daboll, for the way he's acted to his coaching staff, for the way he's gaslighted the fan base, for all the way he's handled himself on the sideline. Like even that game when he's in the medical tent, when Dart gets hurt, he's basically looking in the medical tent. How about you draw up a play for Russell Wilson, who needs your help? Okay, he needs your help.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I don't blame him on that one because if I'm on the field looking at Russell Wilson, I'm like, yo, hurry up, man.
Yeah, get me in the medical. They should look to get him in the medical tent, Brian Daboll, and see what's going on with his head. But for him, even after the game, he's yelling at the special teams coach. He's yelling at the defensive coordinator. That's not how you operate as a coach. You do that behind closed doors. That's fine. Yeah. You don't do that in front of everyone in the public. And I think he wore out his welcome there. And they want to see, hey, do they need to go hire someone from outside or can Kafka take the job? So interesting, but I think it was going to happen whether it was now or later.
Pressure is busting pipes, so see you later. I'm good with it. They should have taken a defensive coordinator with him because I don't know where that guy came. I know where he came from, but I don't know what the hype was about. What was so great about Tennessee when he was there? What was so great about this guy that they had to bring him in? Like, Spagnuolo had a resume coming in. Perry Fuel had a resume coming in. Wink had a resume coming in. Those were guys who can stand alone. What was this guy? What was this guy's claim to fame?
Well, they would have still had Wink if it wasn't for Daboll. Remember,
right?
They got into so they fired Daboll. They said you got rid of you're the reason we have this defensive coordinator, right? Man. So if Wink, he did a great job with the defense when he was there. That team wasn't even that good on offense, but their defense in the year they made the playoffs kind of kept him in the game with the blitzing schemes that he has because he's a high blitzing type of coordinator, which is always something I'm in favor of. Yeah. I always feel like the more pressure you can put on the court, these guys are too good now. You have to put as much pressure as possible on them and get them off script and make those guys make plays outside the purview of the offense. And so, hey, this defensive coordinator, I don't know where they got him from. I don't think listen, let's be real. I don't think there was guys lining up at the door to take the Giants defensive coordinator position. I think that was part of it, right? So I think they pulled this guy. They said, who wants it? You know what I mean? Like we'll pick out of a hat, and they probably took this guy from there. But I think he's not long for this job, as we know. Whether it's now or later, he's gone too.
Pack him up and get him out of here. All right, so we went off the rails a little bit. We're waiting on Steph to get here. Let's get back to the Knicks. This week they have the Memphis Grizzlies coming up on Tuesday. Another back-to-back, one of, I believe they had 13 back-to-backs this year, 13 or 14. So you have the Memphis Grizzlies on Tuesday, Orlando Magic coming in on Wednesday, and then a rematch with the Heat on Friday, which will then turn into a home-and-home on Monday, man. How do you think this week goes, Memphis, Orlando, and Miami Heat?
Well, let's start with Memphis first. What jaw am I getting? for that game.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's going to be the question. The way he's playing right now, and I'm on my fantasy basketball team, so I'm not happy about it. As a fantasy owner. Okay.
Yeah.
But the way he's playing right now, I think he had like 11 points on 3 for 18 shooting last night. That's not John. No matter what fan you are, no matter what team you root for, that's not the John Morant we know. He's not a low shooting percentage guy because he's taking most of his shots at the rim because of how athletic he is. But the way he's playing, he just looks disinterested right now. And from any team, when your best player is like that, that trickles down to the rest of the team. So I think the Knicks are catching them at the perfect time where they're not playing their best, number one, and there's kind of dissension in the locker room. So I think the Knicks are going to come out and they're going to do what they've been doing to these other teams. They're going to do the same thing to them. And then when it comes to Orlando, maybe it's something that's in the Memphis water because Desmond Bane doesn't look like himself either. And, as we all know, he came from Memphis. Yeah. And he looks like a shell. Now, I think he'll be fine as the year goes along, but he is not really fit in well so far. He's I don't know what he's doing.
29% from 3, career low. You got Magic fans now blaming Jamal Mosley, saying, hey, defensively he's good. Offensively, they're no good. Magic right now, they are 3-4 on the campaign, so they started off a little bit slow. But Desmond Bane, not so far. Slow start.
He basically looks like Ben Simmons from the three-point line this year. You know what I mean? This is a guy that shot 39% last year from 3. So, but with that said, and I think I'm curious what you think. The Magic have given the Knicks trouble in recent years.
Always.
You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see with this new style of play now that we're running, is that still going to be a thing because of matchup based, or is it going to be more, hey, with this new style, the Knicks are just a different team and those teams aren't going to give them as much trouble, even if they did the last couple of years?
Magic always give us trouble. You'll have Jalen Suggs will be out, so you'll have Tyus Jones, you have Bane, Franz, Paolo, Wendell Carter. They still got Anthony Black, Tristan Da Silva, a guy I like. They got Goga, Bitadze, and then you got like Jonathan Isaac and those guys. So they always play the Knicks tough. They play them physical, and we'll see. Obviously, not a team to be afraid of either one. Memphis struggling as well, and then you have Miami coming in now. Miami's coming in very hot. They've gotten a lot of accolades in terms of how competitive they've been, how they are spreading the ball around. Norman Powell having a good year, and just getting into different guys. And Jaquez and Bam is doing his thing. So that's the game, because that game in Miami, that was arguably one of the Knicks' worst games of the early season. Missed a ton of shots and still had ample opportunity to win that game. I don't have any issues with the Heat. The Knicks should be able to handle that game. And, hey, we'll see what happens when they get to South Beach. But I have no issues with this team potentially going 3-0 this week.
I agree with you. And listen, even if they go 2-1, it's not an indictment on anything. We know they're not going to win every game for the rest of the year, but I agree. I think they have the potential to do that. And Miami, Miami's an interesting team. They've obviously, we saw it, whoever watched the Amazon Prime. And once again, I'm not getting paid to shout out these networks, these companies, but you know what? Hey, if you want to jump on, hit up the shot clock, you know where to find me. But with when it comes to Amazon Prime, when they did that breakdown, when they had Bam on and they had, I think it was Udonis Haslem and someone else on there, they were breaking down their offense, and they're starting this revolutionary type offense where they're not really running any plays. They're just kind of improv and basketball and just free flowing. So I think more so teams maybe early in the season may be caught off guard by that. I don't know that that's going to be a thing that's going to stick. It might, who knows? But I think when you're looking at Miami, they have talent. They always find a way. Like Norman Powell's a really good player. They brought him in this year. He's capable when he gets minutes. He's shown you with the Clippers and even with the Raptors, he can score 20.
I rock with him heavy, man. When they were after him and Fournier, I was hoping they would have landed him. And Portland ended up going with the 5 years and ended up trading him months after. And the Knicks got Fournier for the 3-3 and a team option. So I think that was the difference. But they were definitely after Norman Powell that free agency year.
Yeah, and I mean, he could fill it up. So Miami's a good team, but I think this is going to be a little revenge for the Knicks. They know they didn't play well that day. They're not the same team as they were that day. They missed how many open threes? I think the stat I looked at the stat sheet. Someone said they missed like the most open threes of any team in that, so far at that point in the season.
Yeah.
So that's not going to happen again, I wouldn't think. And I think you're going to look at the Knicks are going to be coming for blood that game. And I'm looking forward to see how they respond. And this week, when you get this many home games in a row, which is, I think, the longest homestand they've had maybe in 5 years.
Yes.
Like that,
History.
right?
History.
Okay. History. When you get this type of homestand, what do you want to do? You're trying to go 6-1, 7-0 when you're a championship level team, and especially when you're playing the teams they're playing, taking care of business, taking care of the teams that you need to beat. You know what they always say? Beat the teams you need to beat, right? They're 3-0 so far. Now they got, where they 4-0 so far in this homestand.
They are 4-0.
4-0. So they got 3 left. If they win 2 out of 3, they go 6-1. If they win them all, they go 7-0. And that's exactly what you're looking to do. And I think they can definitely do that. To be honest, the game I'm most worried about is Orlando, just because it's the back-to-back.
Second night of a back-to-back. Yeah. Second night of a back-to-back. And
Mitch is not going to play in that game, probably.
Right.
You would think.
Or hopefully they pick one. I hope
That's
he plays against Orlando, and you skip Memphis. You know,
that's true. That's true.
You don't need him for Memphis. You need him against Orlando. They have way more size.
Maybe they'll do that. I'm interested to see what they do. We'll find out, I'm sure, today or tomorrow what they decide to do, but that would be interesting.
We'll definitely find out. Let me check the Discord. Okay, no calls on the Discord. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. CP the Franchise, Justin Morelli on the 1s and 2s. What I'll do is, I haven't heard from Steph, and I got 3 o'clock. I got Salehi Bembury coming up. We're going to record an interview with Salehi Bembury. So we'll wrap this one up. If Steph comes, we'll come out and we'll drop another one with Steph at some point today and get his thoughts on Lenny Wilkins, get his thoughts on the state of the team. And so, because 3 o'clock, I got to do this with Salehi. So I'll get that done. Justin, what's the rest of the week looking like for you, man?
I'll obviously be at the games this week. The only game I might not be at is the Orlando one, actually. I'm going to be at Memphis on Tuesday. I'll be at the Heat on Friday. Orlando, I got invited to this sports trading card event on Wednesday. I'm doing an Eli Manning thing in the afternoon on Wednesday, and then there's this sports trading card event at the Jackie Robinson Museum, which looks really cool, that I got invited to. So it's at 5. I'm trying to parlay all 3. You know us, we work the grind. Yeah. We're burning the candle at both ends. So I'm trying to hit the 1s, I'm trying to hit the 5, and then I'm gonna hit the Knick game at 7:30. That's what I'm trying to do. So if you're at the game, come say what up. Are you gonna be at any all 3,
well,
2?
Gonna try. Maybe the Orlando game. I'll try to get to that one. Friday, we will be doing a watch party. Clinton Hall 36 for the Heat game. We'll have more info for the fans on that just shortly in this afternoon. So I'll try to get to the Orlando game, but I'll keep you posted either way.
Perfect. Sounds good. That's my week looks like. Otherwise, just content. We gotta be on it.
There it is, man. So salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit the like button, hit the share button, and subscribe to the channel once again. Salute to the replay gang. Remember that these shows are available in audio podcast format, so no reason to miss it. Shout out to everybody for the support. Great shows over these past couple weeks. Great shows to really start off the season. So make sure you guys hit the like button. Share it in your group chats on Twitter, on Facebook, wherever you guys chat, do your social medias. And hey, come chat with us on the KFTV Discord, 24/7 group chat and voice calling capabilities. This is where the people go to call into the show. So make sure that you guys are joining the group chat, the Discord, and we'll see you guys later on today, man. #1 show for the fans, by the fans. We out of here, man. Peace.